Hello and welcome to Pickhow Gaming's Halo 2 LASO Co-op guide. We are currently on mission to Outskirts, and this is quite a simple one, especially compared to the pain of Cairo Station. Now let us begin. When you load into the mission, you can swap an assault rifle for Johnson's sniper rifle. It is not exactly necessary, but it is still nice to have. Next, corner a poor marine and beat him up while the other player goes to the left to assassinate a grunt. This will get you a layer of overshield with a black eye skull. You want to do this quickly or your marine allies will take out the grunt before you. Once you're done with that, go outside the starting room and you will see some lights on opposite sides of the wall. Jump onto either one of them, then jump onto the roof of the building. Crouch jumping or crouching right at the peak of the jump will help you get up there. Now, we will be doing some parkour to skip all those pesky Jackal snipers, as well as the hunter fight. Unfortunately, network lag can make it quite difficult, and this level gives us a lot of that for some reason, but that's where teamwork comes into play. For example, as a lagging player, I can just get boosted by my partner Bob to get onto this part of the roof, otherwise I would have to do a difficult crouch jump under immense lag. Follow this path until you get to the broken bit of road where you want to stop jumping for a moment and you may get a checkpoint. Now, we want to jump onto the opposite roof, so first jump onto the yellow railing, then crouch jump up. This is not a very difficult jump, but if you miss it, you could fall below the road and the only way to get back up is through a not so easy grenade jump, so you might as well get killed to start at the road again or at the beginning if you didn't get a checkpoint. If you're having difficulties with this jump, you could use the boosting method like with the previous crouch jump. Another way to get here is by jumping onto the pelican that spawns in and jumping off as it flies away, but I think this route is more convenient, especially if you got the previous checkpoint. Outside Hotel Zanzibar, there should be a grunt, an elite and a turret. Sometimes the grunt is dead, but if it is alive, kill it quickly to let the elite get onto the turret so that he becomes an easy assassination target. After dealing with the elite, you can beat up the turret for even more overshield and pick up the sword if you want to. When you're ready, head to Hotel Zanzibar. Go down the corridor and hide in the third set of doorways. Two elites will soon approach, and you can turn them around the Sputnik Scout and assassinate them. There are also a couple of grunts, so don't forget about them. After that, run as fast as you can because a phantom will show up outside the hotel and start blasting at you. Jump down and hit to the right until you get to the back of the bus parked there. You can actually beat it up for shields, so hit it until it explodes, then melee one additional time to get your shields back. Next, follow the road until the end. Here we tried to do a boost, but it didn't quite work out, so both of us will do a grenade jump. First jump onto the trash can, then onto the ledge next to the door. Aim a grenade in the middle of the ledge, then jump when it explodes. Be careful not to bounce off because you'll waste another grenade and another layer of shields. Walk over to this part of the roof with a satellite dish. You want to get to the higher bit of roof, so do a boost and wedge yourself in between the pole and the slanted part of the roof. From there, you can easily jump to the top. That just leaves the player who wasn't boosted up. You can jump on top of the satellite and wedge yourself in that same position between the pole and the roof, then jump up again. This is quite a difficult jump, so be prepared to spend some time here. If all else fails, there is always the option of a grenade jump. Here I switched to the old graphics because we'll be travelling above the map, and it just looks way too dank on updated graphics to follow the path. Anyway, travel to the end of the roof, then walk down the invisible path to the other roof. I like to jump at the end because the path seems to become narrow at that point, and it is possible to fall and get stuck below. Our previous checkpoint was right after the hotel, so if you die here, you'll have to do the satellite jump all over again. I'll do a fast forward again here because it's just more walking. Basically, you want to walk ahead, then go towards the sun. Apparently, enemies might sometimes spawn here, so it would be good to periodically zoom in with a scope weapon to check, though I've personally never seen one before. By taking this path, we will be bypassing the entire beach section of the mission and getting to the final tunnel section. If only all levels could be this simple. When you reach this point, you should see a phantom parked below, but be careful, it will fire at you if you get too close, so just retreat and wait for it to fly off. Now that the phantom has flown off, hit to the edge again. We want to be able to jump down to the final section of the mission, but there is a jackal sniper in the way, so peek over the edge to snipe him down. There are some elites and ghosts running around, but they can't hit you from below, so you can safely ignore them. Here, I checked if there is an additional jackal sniper for co-op, but it seems that there is always only one. Well, can't hurt to be careful. Anyway, once the deed is done, go to the hole in the roof and drop down into the tunnel. Stop jumping for a few seconds to get a checkpoint, and after a while, a friendly warthog will drive in. Usually it doesn't take so much damage, but it's still useful. You can take the ghost and the warthog, or if you don't want the warthog, there are two ghosts in the tunnel, but I think the warthog is good for finishing off enemies later on. Follow the road and there should be some enemies in the distance around the bend, but wait for the load zone if you don't want to do some friendly fire like I just did. A second warthog appears here, but I don't think it's supposed to happen, so don't count on that. The fights in this tunnel are really simple in general since you have a ghost and a warthog, so you can just fire from a distance and slowly take out the enemy. I will be fast forwarding through all the fights here since there isn't much of a strategy besides spraying at them from afar. By the way, you can switch back to updated graphics at this point if you prefer that. Drive forward and you will run into another group of enemies. Make sure that you take out the turret on the left first because that can deal serious damage to your vehicles. There is a ghost in perfect condition here, so you can switch once you have dealt with the enemies. Anyway, move on until you reach the ramp, but don't jump off it because there are a bunch of drones flying around. Instead, stay at the top and kill them from a safe distance. There are a few vehicles here, so get your overshields if you need them. After that, continue to the next set of enemies. This one is again fairly simple, but sometimes an elite likes to hide behind vehicles, so you might have to bait him out. Also, do note that there is a turret on the right that you should take out immediately. When you are done, move forward and the scarab laser will shoot out the hole in the ceiling and 2 ghosts will appear from the front. You can actually skip this by squeezing through the left side of the road, but we decided to take this fight because it is really easy. You can engage the ghosts 1v1, get behind them and take them out. After that, move on to the next area, which is the turret and the shadow, both of which you want to take out as fast as you can. Also, once you pass a certain point, an allied warthog will spawn in from the left side, and you can take control of it if you lost yours earlier, or if you just want a fresh warthog. Just make sure there aren't that many enemies left before spawning in the warthog so it doesn't take so much damage. With the last enemy down, it's time to get on the road again. You just need to follow the shadows, but don't get too close because their turrets pack quite a punch. You can put some shots into them, which I believe helps a little in the final fight, but prioritize your vehicle health over everything else. When you reach the 2 buses parked on the left, get ready for the next fight and destroy the buses to get your shields if you are low on them. This fight is a little more complicated as there is a couple of elites on the high ground on the right and it is often difficult to get an angle on them. There are also 2 ghosts running around, but they tend to hang around the shadow, so first take out the ghosts from long range, then move in to kill the elite. After that, I like to go up the ramp on the right in preparation for the final fight. It is possible to skip it by just blazing through all the turret fire, but it really depends on a run by run basis. In our case, our vehicles are too damaged and will probably explode before we can reach the end, so we decide to fight it out. Here, there are 3 ghosts that like to chase you through the tunnel, and they don't shoot a lot when you have the high ground, so I can pretty safely put shots into them or into the shadow from this position. As for the warthog, you can park it on the road and spray with the minigun. It can soak quite a bit of damage, so it should be fairly safe. For this fight, you want to first eliminate the ghosts, then the shadow and turrets, then the other enemies. Once the ghosts are down, it is a simple task to kill everything else. You can even make a run for the end if you feel that both you and your vehicle are healthy enough. Just don't forget about the turret on the far left as well as the shadow. When you've taken down a satisfactory number of enemies, step on the gas and charge straight ahead to end the mission. And that is the end of the video. Please give a like if you found it helpful, comment if you have any tips in approaching those fights or jumps, and do subscribe for more. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be about Mission 3, Metropolis.